South by Southwest is upon us, and I thought it would be a good time to talk about festivals, which are usually an important part of the filmmaking journey because it's a place to showcase your work and build your network of people and build your career over time with bigger and bigger festivals and awards, and that can lead to larger opportunities. But festivals can also be really expensive. So it's definitely something to consider in terms of where you spend your money to apply and also where you spend your money to actually go. Because once you get in, going is one of the best parts about being in a festival. It's not the laurel or the accolade that you can put on your website or your poster. It's going and actually meeting people and listening to the audience while they watch your film and seeing, getting that feedback, doing the Q&A, and just building your network. That's one of the most important things about any festival. So, if you have limited funds, you really want to be strategic about which festivals you go to. Now, if you don't know this already, there are really just five, seven if you include Venice and Berlin, but there are really five top festivals that are truly game changers and, industry festivals. And that is Sundance, Tribeca, Toronto, Cannes, and South by Southwest. So again, these are game-changing festivals and so incredibly competitive to get into that many people don't even apply to them anymore because it's so difficult to get in. But there are many amazing second tier festivals that do wonderful things for their filmmakers that they invite to attend and speak at. And many of them are Oscar qualifying for for shorts. So that can be a really great way if you win Best Short at those festivals to consider the best short film Oscar category. And there are also amazing regional film festivals that are really like your local film festivals that are really, again, a great way to connect with an audience, connect with your local community. Even if you're not part of that community, you're connecting with people who really support independent film and want to see something other than the studio Marvel films. So, regional film festivals can be some of the most amazing experiences, even though they're small, and you might not think, is this going to do something for my career? But it really can because it really has this heartfelt community. And what's amazing too about festivals is that many of the programmers at the big festivals also program for these smaller regional film festivals. And many of these film programmers who start out at the smaller regional film festivals can kind of grow and end up at some of these big film festivals. So when you go and when you submit, don't discount the smaller or the more regional film festivals because developing a relationship, getting your work known by festival programmers at these smaller ones can eventually help you land a bigger festival as well. And, the person who runs South by Southwest now used to be their shorts programmer. So there's this career trajectory in the festival strategy. So if you go to a festival, some of the key people you want to meet are the film programmers. And yes, there can be a lot of turnover. Sometimes they're not there from year to year, but those people are usually somewhere in the industry and again can be helpful in a variety of ways. So meet the programmers, meet the other filmmakers that are going, that have films showing. Go and attend those other screenings, listen to their Q&As, meet those people. So again, it can be expensive to apply. So one of the things that I suggest is to apply to festivals that can, in some ways, help your industry career with a solid network. And usually you want to bank on festivals that have been around for a little while. So a good rule of thumb is to apply to festivals that have been around at least 10 or 15 years. That way they've got kind of an established following, established audience, industry connections, things like that. That's not to say you never apply to a first year or second year festival, but you really want to think about, what is it that they're bringing to the table and how can help you with your career and getting your work seen. I'm not a fan of the online only festivals, just because it's really hard to gauge exactly how this is helping you. And having your film streamed online can then sometimes disqualify you from other more helpful festivals. So you just want to be careful about the online only festivals. So, be strategic about which ones you're applying to. Definitely apply to ones in your local region because, again, you want to tap into your own community as much as you can. And then tapping into the other ones that you think can help get your film seen and connect with the audience that you want to continue making work for and develop relationships with those programmers and things like that. Then moving forward, it's expensive to go to these festivals. Now, again, if you didn't know this, if you have a project selected, whether a script or a film, you usually get a badge. Maybe not for a script, sometimes you just get a discount, but if you have a film screening in a festival, which is kind of the key component of any festival, don't go to any festival that selects you for an award but doesn't actually screen your film. So, if you get selected, you usually get at least one or two or even three badges with your selection. So you don't have to pay for those badge fees. And some of those badge fees are like $1,000 or more, which again, it's extremely expensive. And then you still have to travel there. If you have a feature film, or depending on the festival, there might be discounts in lodging, or they might even cover your flights. So inquire about any kind of travel subsidies that can help. And then looking for places to stay as well. So that's, again, such a huge component of whether you go or not. And so find ways to kind of offset those costs. So if you don't have a project in a festival, but you really want to go, but you can't maybe afford a badge, other ways to think about going is volunteering for that festival, and that's something you'll need to plan for in advance and apply for and all of that. So, but that's a great way to get a free badge. You'll have to do some work, obviously, but you will have free time to go see some of the screenings. And again, you're meeting people and you're connecting with that program, the festival itself. And so those are things that can be really helpful to offset those costs. And but again, the film festival route is full of rejection. It's very hard and it's expensive, but it really is wonderful and really can help set you up for your next film, because once you have those relationships or once you screen at a festival, you can go back to them when you have your next project and say, hey, I'm an alum filmmaker and I would love to premiere my latest short film or feature film at your festival. Can I get a waiver code? And then that can help offset your submission fees. So it all just, ends up kind of rolling forward. And then as an alum filmmaker, sometimes that can give you some preferential consideration for the program. Not always, but it can help. So again, this is a relationship-based industry, and festivals are part of this industry. So definitely something to consider. One thing to pay attention to is that many of the second tier, kind of not top five festivals are starting to limit the window of acceptability in terms of when the production was created. So typically, film festivals want to show work that's been created in the last 2 years. So usually you have like a 2-year window of eligibility to apply with your film. And traditionally, what that meant was you spent the first year applying to the top tier festivals to trying to, you know, premiere at Sundance or whatever. And then you would, after those rejections, apply to the second tier and the regional festivals. But many of those second tier and regional festivals are limiting their window to the year prior. So they're only showcasing the most recent work because they don't want to be a festival of second choice. They have an amazing program and they have amazing people and they have amazing following. So they don't want to be, the choice after you've thrown your money away on a gamble to get into the Cannes Film Festival. So I understand it, but again, it's something to consider that you might not be eligible to apply for some of these more gettable festivals if you wait to get rejected at those top five. And so that's definitely something to consider. And also remember that feature film premieres are really what set the tone for that feature. So it is something you really want to select and be careful about. So if you do have a shot at those top tier festivals, then, go for it because, like I said, they are game changer festivals. But with short films, those premiere status is no longer really the case anymore for most of them. And so there is a little bit more freedom to premiere one place and then still have a shot at some of the bigger festivals. So shorts have a little bit more flexibility just because they're not riding on a potential sale, whereas like with a feature film, your goal is to sell that feature film. And so you want to premiere at a place that will help you do that. So those are just some things to consider. Have a great time going to festivals. I highly recommend it. And if you're going to South by, enjoy.